So in the midst of all the hype and the chaos surrounding Nintendo and the Nintendo NX and everything that happens on the internet and YouTube and all of us crazy folks out here always talking about the NX and speculating on what Nintendo's doing, it got me kind of thinking the last day or so about that special kind of Nintendo magic that actually makes that happen. So I know that's kind of a vague statement, but if you really stop and think about it, it probably makes a lot of sense. We're in this weird, crazy period of time where there is so much wonder about the mystical craziness that is supposed to be the NX, this weird mystery box that no one knows about, and everyone is speculating and theorizing and finding patents online and creating weird drawings and putting them out there on napkins and on stupid things, and everyone's losing their minds. We have internet celebrities talking about different things and panels and on Reddit, and everyone just is going so crazy. And it's the kind of thing that I really feel like, trying not to be too much of a Nintendo fanboy, which I admittedly am, but still a supporter of everyone out there who makes games and all the consoles, I really feel like it's something that only Nintendo can really create. This kind of hype and craziness and fervor and excitement, to be fair, it's technically excitement, even though there is a huge level of frustration that comes along with it. It's just the kind of thing that if you've been following gaming for any length of time, you just know it's something that Nintendo is able to do. And it's really interesting when you look at the competition, the other people that have come and gone, some people who are no longer around competing with Nintendo, some of them who of course still are, great companies who've made a lot of great products and games over the years. And it's like, you know what, those guys, for as great as they are, they really don't seem to have the ability to create the same kind of excitement and hype that Nintendo can. So I think the next part of this conversation is whether or not that's a good thing. And I have to say, as a Nintendo fan, that yes, it is a good thing. Of course, most Nintendo fans would probably say that if Nintendo is the company you like and Nintendo is the company who's able to generate this buzz, you're going to see that as a good thing. I feel like in an industry that's kind of starting to fumble a little bit, that's tripping over itself, that's struggling to find its way. I've used the analogy many times of the 8th generation in the video game industry as kind of that awkward teenager that's trying to grow into itself and is not really succeeding and maybe has hair in funny places and its skin doesn't look so great. You know, that's kind of what the gaming industry feels like right now. And in that, it's really interesting and I think very positive that we have a company like Nintendo who can exist and create this weird magic and this sense of wonder. Yes, like I said, there is a huge dose of frustration that comes along with that. As a gamer and a Nintendo fan, I do get frustrated over the fact that here we are halfway through almost October 2016, and a year ago I would have said there's no way we would make it past the summer without knowing what the NX is and seeing it and having a release date, if not even playing it by now. So it is very frustrating to know that those kinds of things are happening right now, but still, when you look at the other end of that spectrum and you try not to look at it from the frustrated angle, you see something pretty cool. You see a company and you see a supposed product and you see a history, 30 years of gaming history, of a company that's able to make amazing things happen in this industry, and it actually gets people excited and talking and it gets people a buzzing. And I do think that's positive, even if it does create those sort of angering moments that we're dealing with and people going off the rails with trying to speculate and, like I said, drawing pictures on napkins and putting that on the internet and stuff for people to go crazy. That stuff is very difficult, sure, but I love the fact that a company like Nintendo can do that. And again, as I was alluding to a couple of minutes ago, if you've been gaming for any length of time, going back 10, 15, 20, 30 years, like I have for myself, over 30 years of gaming, so I do go back to right before the NES launched in North America, you know, it's a kind of thing that Nintendo's been doing for a long time. You know, they've always been able to kind of make these sort of things happen, and they kind of speak to this spirit inside of us as gamers, and the things that make us excited about gaming and the things that make us want to be excited about wondering about things. They have the ability to do that. And I love Sony and Microsoft too. You guys know that I do. Not in the same way, of course, because they haven't been in my life as long as Nintendo. And I also don't think that ultimately they make as good of a product as Nintendo, both on the hardware side and on the software side. But I still do love those guys. I have supported the PlayStation and Xbox brands for almost as long as they've existed. Not so much the PS1, but by the end of the PS2, I was jumping on board. Xbox and 360 and Xbox One, you know, I like all those things. So they make a great product, and I do enjoy the games on those systems. But they can't do the same thing, you know. That's kind of what I wanted to discuss here. Is it's interesting what Nintendo is able to do and how it's able to capture people's attention and get them interested and keep them interested even with nothing. I mean, if you think about it, Nintendo has been able to create news the past 5 months with literally no news. They have not been giving us news. They gave us one 3DS Nintendo Direct, and they showed us basically one game at E3, and through that almost non-existent news, they're still the company that gets the most buzz, that the most people are talking about, that everyone's making YouTube videos about and writing articles about, trying to find scoops about, and when these things happen, when these articles are posted, and when YouTube videos get made, they get a ton of attention. They get more attention than anything. You can't make an Xbox or a PlayStation video and get even 1/3 of the attention as you could a Nintendo or an NX video. And again, that's coming from a company that's right now literally giving us nothing. And it's interesting because the whole point of this video, now a couple of minutes in, of course, is as much as I love Sony and Microsoft and their products, I just don't think that they could do that. I don't think any other company in the industry can generate this kind of attention and get people hopped up and get them excited. Now, that doesn't mean that they still can't get people excited. Again, I'm someone who feels like Sony absolutely killed it at E3 this year. I think they had the best conference, one of the top 3 conferences I've ever seen, easily the best this year, better than most of even Nintendo's last couple of years with the exception of 2014. I mean, that was generating excitement. That got me excited. That got people in the auditorium jumping up and hooping and hollering. I think they even had that many times last year as well. Microsoft had great press conferences. So these companies can reveal systems, reveal products, reveal games and software and ideas like PlayStation VR, and yes, get people excited. So I'm not trying to totally shove them in the dirt and ignore the good things they do, because they do, and it's why I like them. But it's not to the same degree, you guys. And I think that you know that. Even maybe you Nintendo haters out there, you non-Nintendo fans, who feel like the PS4, the Xbox One is so much better than anything Nintendo can do, that's completely fine. I do not have any problem with you feeling that way and having that opinion. But when you look at the actual generation of excitement and the ability to create this buzz and these talking points, they can't do what Nintendo does. And what's great is at this point, Nintendo does it literally effortlessly. They have been doing this so long. They've been in the industry for so long. They've been so successful for decades upon decades that they have literally figured out the formula. I think that what's happening right now with Nintendo and the NX is almost purposeful. They literally are putting no energy into this. They're just like, we're just here. We're making our thing. We know it's going to be great. We'll show you when we're ready. We'll sell it when we're ready to sell it. You'll love it when it's available. Until then, we're going to keep our mouths shut and just let you guys have fun and go nuts with it. And it's working. And it's not the first time. You look at some of their best E3 moments. You look at some of their best reveals of products and the way they first showed off the Wii controller back in the day, that was unbelievable. And that was in the genesis of video on the internet. I mean, finding video on the internet wasn't quite as plentiful as it is now. You know, back in 2005, I think, when that video hit, and still people were finding it and like, oh my God, what is this company doing? What does this mean for gaming? And even though it was weird and confusing, it was exciting and people still liked it, even though they didn't know if they liked it yet. It was like, that's awesome, I think. What the hell is that? Look at the wire and the weird nub and the pointer and the remote. What the hell is that? And those are the kind of things that, again, you know, try not to beat the dead horse here, that only Nintendo can do. I would love it if Sony or Microsoft could find a way to do the same things, and they certainly have tried and obviously have seen success. When you look at the sales of all the current systems, obviously those companies have seen success where Nintendo hasn't. And of course that has to be noted and respected, credit where credit's due. I love the PS4, so I appreciate that it's the best-selling console. I don't think it really has the library to back up those sales, but I still like the console, so it's not like I'm going to actually be mad at that success. At least it's a quality console that deserves high sales, so I appreciate that. So, you know, that's a different element to the conversation. I just think it's a good time right now in these hopefully waning days and weeks before Nintendo finally decides to get off its behind and pull the veil off of the NX and show us what it is and give us a release date and a price and show us the games and the controller and all this stuff. You know, we're literally in the twilight hour. At some point soon, you guys, it has to be happening within the next couple of weeks. We're going to see this thing. It will forever no longer be a mystery. And like I said before, I think we should appreciate these times and we should appreciate what the company is able to do. And for those of us who are big Nintendo fans and gamers who like Nintendo's products, I think it's important to just talk about how cool that is and realize maybe this is one of the elements that makes us love this company and makes us excited. And even when you start to get really angry with Nintendo and you get frustrated with Nintendo and you want to just slap Nintendo and Reggie and everyone across the face and say, wake the hell up, man, what are you doing? Give us the stuff that we're looking for. it's still part of what makes them interesting, and it's what keeps us invested and keeps us paying attention. People who are Nintendo fans, and sometimes they like them and sometimes they don't, and maybe they don't want to be a fan anymore, at the same time, none of us can stop talking about them. None of us can stop waiting for their reveal of their next system, because we all want it to be awesome, because Nintendo is that company that keeps us attracted to them. It's a very special quality that the very best companies in any industry, beyond just gaming, are able to achieve, and that they have. It's just that special little something, that little dose of magic, as I've said many times, and I think it's pretty cool. So just a little video to talk about what Nintendo's able to do, and appreciate that they can do what really no one else can. And if you guys can think of a company out there that can do the exact same thing and create the same type of excitement and wonder and mysticism that Nintendo can, let me know. I mean, I've been gaming for a long time. I know everyone out there and everything that everyone's doing, and I can't think of a single company, even the other companies who I love, that can do what Nintendo can do. And it's part of what's kept me a Nintendo fan through all the good times and the bad over the last 30 some odd years. That's why I think they're great. So, what do you guys think? Does this make sense to you? Can you think of a company that can do what Nintendo can do? Or do you really think that they are the only company that truly possesses that special little ingredient that makes them so interesting and makes it so we can't stop paying attention to them and wondering what the hell are they going to do next? Tell me what you guys think about this and Nintendo and all this fun stuff below. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in. This is Rob of World to Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.